It's me again. This is now part, I guess you could say 4 of my how to make a hair thing out of a copper pipe. This is the part where we left off, right here. Kind of see that? And this is the part we're going to cut today. This is the top piece. I got my better tin snips. Cut this out. And this works much like the way the other one did. You just cut it to where you can bend it off. And you go again. Kind of trim around. Yeah, my beautifully clean workbench here. Just going to trim this a little more. You don't want to cut too much into this part because it's where your strength is going to be. Just cut around. And just like before, if you have where my needle nose pliers go, they always like to run off. There they are. Just want to kind of get this to where you can have it to where it's kind of even. Turn that piece off. And if I did this right, looks like it's pretty close. You can see that they kind of line up. Now I'm going to take and bend these ears down. Straight down, same as the other ones. That's what that will look like. And you see it looks kind of cheesy. I'm going to do some fine cutting here to get it more of a proper shape. As soon as I get my light thing set up so I don't get blinded by my light again. Yes, now with better lighting. Just going to trim there. Trim a little bit there. So it's slightly more symmetrical. And I make these snips so they only go one way. And I'm going to put this on. You can see they kind of line up. Now comes the fun part. Now I get to do the bending. Because you have to get this with the appropriate bend, or else it's not going to do anything. So, take your pliers, needle nose pliers, just kind of bend, and you put a bit of a curvature on it, like that. And the same thing for the other side. Just kind of bend. Just kind of bend it along, because you don't want to go too much. You see about there. And then you would start flattening it out. Again. So. And this side, you would just bend at approximately the curvature that your head will be at. So you just kind of go straight across like that. Not too much there, but now you can just kind of bend it back with your hand. You see, this is fairly easy. It's fairly easy to bend, but I use the pliers. And see, I bent it too much. So I got to take this, bend it back, bend. Pick up the piece that fell on the floor. And I've stuffed it up entirely because I got the pieces the wrong lengths. Great. Well, so I guess this part failed. So what I'm going to do, but you get the general idea of it, I hope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mod my original one with the flat spring. I'm going to replace that with the spring from the mousetrap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the flat spring first so I can get pressure off the pin. That's what, if you want to make one with a flat spring, is what that looks like. And I'm going to pull out my hinge pin here. You can see that's what that originally looked like. And just kind of fit together like so. We're going to take out the mousetrap spring. Just kind of stick your plier underneath there and pry it out. And getting it out of the thing, to get it out of the trap, you just kind of take your little rope here, bend it out, and it just comes out. Now you've got this spring. What do you do with it? Well, it won't just fit in there because it's too long. So what you've got to do is you pick an end, whichever end you want, and you'll need another pair of pliers most likely. What you want to do is you'll want to get it out. I'm going to attempt to use my snips to take off a couple of these outside coils because I'm going to need some to unwind to make my lever for the other side. So I'm just going to cut that. And now you've got the spring. It looks kind of like this. And now you would put your needle nose pliers on there or whatever you have and attempt to unwind it, which is going to be slightly easier said than done because they don't really want to unwind because they're springs. That's how they work. So if I can get this started, then it won't be so bad. The trick is doing it on camera, which is, of course, not going to be super easy. Bend that out, bend that out. Okay, now I got it kind of spread out a little bit. I use my wire cutter here to stick it between the coils and bend it a little bit. Now I've got a starting point at least. So now what I have to do is I have to flatten it out. I'm going to use my big pliers here because they got a better jaw for that. Just go in there and squish it out. Use the other pliers to get more leverage. Leverage is key with this sort of thing. Go kind of get it bent out a little bit there. Kind of see that? My beautiful, beautiful work here. Put it in the flat part to kind of flatten it out. Because you want to have this to where it's flat against the metal or else it won't do any good. Okay, I'm going to need just a little bit more out there to ensure that I have enough leverage to make everything work the way it's supposed to. this in there and we just crank it around a little bit. There we go. And drop it on the floor.
Because that's the way we do things here. Now it ran away and I will probably never find it again.
Okay, now I've got this kind of a thing here. Just got to flatten it out a little more so that all the coils will fit where they need to. Just make it look moderately professional, you know. So people won't be like, ew, you made that yourself. It's so icky. Must maybe some sort of amateur made that. Like, no, this is American made by American. Yeah, right. Okay, then we got this. Get this kind of. I kind of crimp it in the jaws, and it makes it kind of flat. So we're gonna bend it about that far. So what I have to do is now comes the really tricky part, getting everything together. I'm going to trim this a little bit with my cutters, with my snips here, because I don't feel like dealing with a long one. I'm going to trim it about to there, and that one also to about there. And now I've got this little piece that goes on there. So I'm going to put this in there. Get that lined up. I put my nail through this. I have to have this all, the part that makes it fun is I have to have this all the way together, unless I can get this wound around and hold it in place, which will be extra fun. So I have to try and wind this around. And if I had my 3 hands, I'm going to try and put it in the old-fashioned way. So I have to get these pieces aligned, go together like so. Get my piece in there. That. Like that. Get this kind of started at least so I can move it around if I have to. Okay, that goes there. That goes there. Okay, kind of get that in there. Okay, I've got that piece. Now I've just got to get this piece twisted around without making it go spring all over the room or breaking anything. So I'm going to stick my needle nose in there and twist it around. And of course it runs off. Okay, I'm going to stick this back in there. Stay. I'm going to get my needle nose in there, get this nail in just a little bit more, I guess. There. You know, just in a little more so that it doesn't fly out on me again. I'm going to go and twist this around. Great. Well, that's no good now. Now I got to make another one. Just broke the copper piece. Awesome! At least it was the bottom part, so I can maybe... No, I can't. I have to make a new piece. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and when I finish, I will attempt to put the spring back in again. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye!